Welcome to TechUWise. In today's session, we will be discussing the modern block cipher mechanism and specifically the Feastel cipher structure. So modern block cipher. So it is most widely used type of the cryptographic algorithms. What about the use of these mechanisms? It provides confidentiality and authentication services. So here, before moving on further, we have to discuss in detail what is a block cipher and what we mean by stream cipher. So what is a block cipher? It processes messages in blocks and then each block is encrypted or decrypted. So with regard to the stream cipher mechanism, processes message as a bit or byte at a time for encrypting and decrypting. So in the case of block cipher, if the entire message is available in hand, then the message can be divided into blocks and then it is processed and then it can be processed. Whereas in the case of video streams, we will not have the entire message in hand. So we will have some set of bits or bytes in hand at a time. So if we are waiting for the entire video to be streamed and then it is going to be processed, then the delay will be there. At that time, we will need the mechanism which handles the stream of data. So stream cipher processes messages a bit or byte at a time for encrypting and decrypting. So now we are going to have a detailed discuss on block cipher principles. So in block cipher, it operates on a plain text block of n bits and then it produces the n bit cipher text block. It looks extremely like a larger substitution mechanisms. If the value of n is large, it looks like a larger substitution. Already we discussed the substitution techniques. So if we are taking a larger value of the block size, then it will look like a larger substitution mechanism. So this is the idea block cipher. Here we can see 2-bit plain text. So consider I'm going to take a 2-bit block. So 2-bit block. Each block is of size 2 bits. So what are the possible values of those 2 bits? So these 2 bits can be either 00, 01, 10 or 11. 4 different possible values are there. So that is what we are having. So if I'm taking a 2-bit input, then there will be 4 different possible values. If it is going to be 3-bit input, then 8 different, 2 to the power of 3, 8-bit possible inputs. So here 0, 1, 2, 3 are the possible values. So here if I am going for the encryption mechanism, then decryption should be possible. That is, we have to reverse back the cipher text as plain text so that it can be in a readable format. So what we can do, so this 00 can be encrypted as 10. This 01, just example. So 01 can be encrypted as 00. 10 can be encrypted as 11 and 11 can be encrypted as 01. So only in this case you can see it is reversible. So if I am having this table in my hand, then what the ciphertext if I am receiving a ciphertext as 00, then it can be decrypted as plain text 01. So consider the scenario if I am encrypting like this 01, 10, 11. So consider a mapping of 00 is mapped as 10, 01 is mapped as 00, 10 is mapped as 11 and 11 is mapped as 00. How is it possible? So here you can see 00, 2 different possibilities of plain text. So it can't be reversed. So ciphertext can be reversed as an equivalent plain text. So if I am having 2-bit of plain text, that is 4 combinations of input, then I should have 4 unique combinations of output. Alright. So here you can see 0 is mapped as 1. And here 1 is mapped as 3 and 2 mapped as 0 and 3 mapped as 2. Next, we can have a look into the Feastel cipher. So this is the most symmetric block cipher mechanism. So many of the symmetric block cipher mechanisms are based on Feastel cipher structure. What we mean by symmetric block cipher mechanism? So already we discussed the previous videos. We discussed some classical cryptographic techniques such as Caesar cipher, Playfair cipher, and so on. In that case, you can infer the key used for encryption and key used for decryption remains the same. That is symmetry. The receiver and the sender will use the same key to proceed with the process. That is symmetry. Whereas asymmetry, in the sense, sender and receiver will be going for different keys. So the key used by receiver sender will be X and key used by the receiver will be Y for proceeding with the decryption process. But X and Y cannot be any two random values. Instead, that they will be mathematically related. Those things we can discuss later. So here, most symmetric block cipher mechanisms are based on Feastel cipher structure. It works with k bits key size. It takes a key size of k bits and it works on a n bit plain text block length. It takes n bit plain text block and k bit size and it produces a n bit ciphertext. So it uses the substitution permutation network which was proposed by Claude. Here you can see substitution permutation. So here network, it is not going to be a single step process. Instead, it is going to be a network, multiple combination of substitution and permutation. So it was proposed by Claude Shannon, introduced this approach. Here using this properties, we will get confusion and diffusion property. So what we mean by diffusion? So here diffusion, so if I am encrypting a plain text and converting it to a ciphertext, the intruder should not be able to decrypt the key or should not be able to decrypt the plain text and should not be able to retrieve the key. So considering that, the statistical properties of the original message should be completely obscure. So the cipher needs to completely obscure the statistical properties of the original message. That is attained with the help of these two properties, that is diffusion and confusion. So what is diffusion? It dissipates the statistical structure of plain text over bulk of ciphertext. That is, the relationship between the plain text and the ciphertext is made as complex as possible. So, and this is achieved by permutation. Next comes confusion. It makes the relationship between ciphertext and key as complex as possible and it is achieved by substitution. So now we can move on to the Feastel cipher structure. As discussed earlier, it is going to be not a single step process. Instead, it involves multiple substitution permutation. Already we discussed the Caesar cipher mechanism, Hill cipher mechanism. So only a single step, only one level of substitution was there. Whereas here in this case, one set we will have a combination of substitution and permutation and then in a multiple set of rounds. So here, Feastel cipher structure, yeah, it is devised by the concept is devised by Horst Feastel. What it does, it divides the plain text into two halves and then it is processed. Plain text is divided into two halves. So what should be the size of the plain text? It should be a multiple of 2W bits. Plain text will be of 2W bits and each half is going to be processed separately and then it is going to be there will be a combination of swabs and so on. So we can have a look into it now. The plain text is divided into left half and right half. 2W bits of plain text is taken and it is divided into left half and right half. So left half is of the W bits and right half is of W bits. For example, if the plain text is of 10 bits, then it is divided into 5 bits and 5 bits. It depends upon the algorithm. The size of the plain text taken depends upon the algorithm. Here, this is a generic one. Feastel cipher structure is not going, it is not a specific mechanism. Instead, it is just a prototype. So W bits and W bits. So left half and right half. So here you can see this left half comes across a XOR function. So here left half is going to be processed separately, and then you can see right half comes across a F function. So F function is going to be for each and every specific, is going to be different for each and every specific algorithm. So this F function gets a key. So here you can see this is a single round of process, and this round of process is going to be repeated n number of times. So if my algorithm is going to have 5 rounds, in the sense, this particular step is going to be done 5 times. Right, and each round is not going to use the same key. Instead, it is going to use a unique key. For round 1, I am using K1, and for round n, I am using Kn. So again, we need for each round, it is not possible for the user to give the key. So the cryptographic mechanism generates, that specific algorithm will have a subkey generation mechanism. So only one key will be given of size k bits. From those k bits, n different subkeys will be generated by the key generation mechanism of that algorithm. So that key is given as input to the F function. So here this is going to be processed, and then it is given as input to the, so here you can see this left half, and the output of the right half in the sense, this processed right half is XORed. So here you can see left half is taken and right half comes across a F function. So F function is going to have a set of some mechanisms, and this F function takes the key part, and this output of the F function is given as input to this XOR. So left half, unprocessed left half, and the processed right half comes across a XOR operation. Right, and then it is going to be swapped. So here we will have a swap between the left half and the right half. Right, so here you can see this processed left half becomes the right half of the next round, and this unprocessed right half, it is not the output of the F function. Instead, it is going to be the unprocessed right half becomes the left half of the next round. So this is the one single round. The single round is going to be, output of each round is going to be given as input to the next subsequent round. So this output will be given as input to next round. So here you can see this is round n, so which takes the input of previous round, that is round n minus 1. So L n minus 1 and right half n minus 1 is taken, and this L minus 1 is given as input to the XOR function. And what about the other input? So this right half comes across the same F function used in the previous rounds, and then it takes a unique subkey, right? So unique subkey, the output of this F function is given as input to this XOR function. Now process it, and then it is going to be a swap. So this remains the same for all the n rounds. So here one specific thing with regard to the last round. So once all the n rounds are processed in the Feaster cipher structure, the last round's output will again be swapped. Last round's output will again be swapped, and then this is going to be the cipher text. So all these are the predefined things. So all these are predefined mechanism dictated by the Feaster cipher structure. So let me repeat. The plain text is divided into 2 halves, and then each half is going to be processed. So here the right half comes across a F function, and each round takes a unique subkey which is generated from the main key given by the user. The output of the F function is given as input to the XOR operation. So and then comes the left half. So now the output of this XOR operation, and the unprocessed write half comes across a swap, W bit swap, and then this output is considered as the input for the next subsequent round. So this sequence of step is repeated for n rounds. All the n rounds gets over, there will again a W bit swap and comes the final output cipher text. Okay, so if we are designing a cryptographic technique based upon the Feaster cipher structure, then it depends upon the following parameters and the design features. So Feaster cipher design features. So if we are designing a cryptographic algorithm, we have to be careful with choosing certain parameters. So what are those parameters? First comes the block size. As discussed earlier, Feaster cipher is not defining any specific size. Instead, it is specifying that the plain text should be of block size 2 W bits. That's it. So what should be the block size? So if the block size is very small, then what will happen? It can be easily decrypted. So any intruder can easily decrypt the things. That is, analysis will be very, very easier. So the intruder can easily decrypt it, retrieve the plain text. So we will have to go for the larger block size. So if the block size is large, then it improves the security. The block size should be large, only then the security will be good. But if it is very, very large, then it will slow down the encryption process. So the next is going to be the key size. So how should be the key size? Yeah, if the key size is larger, then the security will be improved. But what happened? Improved in the sense, searching the key size will be becoming difficult. Searching the key will become difficult. So for example, if I'm going for just example, if I'm going for key size of 2 bits, then the possible keys will be only 4. So it can be easily searched. So if the key size is going to be 40 bits, then possible keys will be 2 to the power of 40. So it will be harder. And again, if it is going to be very high, if the size is very huge, then it will slow down the encryption process. So the next comes the number of rounds. As discussed earlier, the Feaster cipher is not going to be a single process. Instead, it involves multiple rounds. So how should be the number of rounds? Again, increasing the number of rounds improves the security, but it reduces the speed of encryption. So we have to go for an optimum size. So the next comes the subkey generation algorithm. Subkey generation algorithm. Yeah, the user is going to have a single key of size k bits. From that k bits, the subkey generation algorithm will generate key for all the n rounds. So the greater complexity of subkey generation can make the analysis harder, but it will slow down the encryption process. Next comes the round function. Yeah, so that round function is nothing but the f function. So this f function, which is going to take the right half and then the key, subkey part. So this round function should have a greater complexity, which make analysis harder, and on the other hand, the encryption process will be slower. And the next comes the fast software encryption and decryption. So here, this is the concern for practical use. So this is the concern for practical use. And next comes the ease of analysis. So here we are representing, till this point we were discussing that the size should be larger, only then the analysis part will be difficult. But here we are mentioning it as ease of analysis. Why we need ease of analysis? It should be one of the design feature. So for easier validation and testing the strength of the algorithm. So these are the key elements. So these are the key properties, parameters, and design features to be considered when we are designing the cryptographic technique based on Feaster cipher structure. with regard to the decryption part, and again it is going to be the reverse process. The same thing, only thing is the reverse process, the key is going to be used in a reverse way. So that's it with the Feaster cipher structure. In the next session, we can have a discussion on DES algorithm, data encryption standard. For periodic updates, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.